The next speaker that we have is Adolf. Adolf, can you please confirm if you have joined in?
Yes, Hitesh, I'm here and I have also turned on my videos.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me start by introducing Adolf to everyone. So Adolf has over 16 years of experience in the industry of information technology. Currently, he is associated with Cognizant as performance test architect. The majority of his experience comes from performance testing, automation testing, and QA consulting. Today, he would be speaking on a topic, use of AI ML in the performance testing, which I believe is the impressive as concept like AI ML has gained popularity over last few years. So without further ado, let's hear out from the man himself. Welcome, Adolf. Over to you.
Thank you, Hitesh. You are able to hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. I really appreciate that. And I would also like to thank ATA GTR for giving me this opportunity to present my paper. So I'm truly humbled here to present my paper. So with further, without any delay, let me share my screen and we can go. Okay. Okay, everyone is able to see my screen, right? Hitesh, can you confirm?
Yes.
Okay, so so my paper is basically use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in performance testing, and here are the agenda, right? First, we will go through the overview, then artificial intelligence and machine learning, then we'll go to aspect of AI in testing, then we will narrow down our topic related to performance testing as how it can help performance testing and what would be the AI and ML best strategy for performance testing, how AI and ML are changing the performance testing process, detecting performance anomalies using AI and ML, and benefit of AI and ML in performance testing, followed by Q&A session. So let me start with overview, right? So first of all, artificial intelligence does not need any kind of introduction, right? We all use artificial intelligence in some or other way, right? In day-to-day life, like Apple Siri, Microsoft Cortana is there, Google Assistant is there, Alexa is there, right? And what we do is that we just tell them that, hey, Alexa, can you play some sound, right? Some music, and it processes our voice, it recognizes our voice and play the music, right? So that is also a part of artificial intelligence, right? That works on artificial intelligence. So how about like if I tell after some days, after some years, right? If I tell Alexa that, hey, Alexa, can you run a performance test for XYZ application and send me the report, right? And it sends the report to my email. That looks very fascinating, right? So we are not yet there, but we are using AI and ML in bits and pieces now, and I'm very much optimistic that in near future we will achieve something similar to that, right? So with that, like AI and ML is a game changer that I would conclude, right? And we also know that way back, like 2 decades back, right, when we were doing performance testing, we had everything manual and with little minimal tools available that time, right? For maybe for scripting and execution, but apart from that, like your analysis, workload modeling, and test preparation, right? And then preparing the result, right? Everything was manual, and still it is manual. Though we are using some kind of tools, but still there are lot many manual efforts are there, right? So we still have a lot of rooms to implement newer technology, and AI and ML would be one of that, right? So with the use of AI in performance testing, the task like scripting, monitoring is highly impactful and help to get the real-time result very quickly and more accurately, right? So that is basically overview. And let me go to the next slide. So with that, like many people will ask that what is artificial intelligence and what is machine learning? I know that most of us know, but just to recap, right? If I have to summarize artificial intelligence in one line, I would say that artificial intelligence is a simulation of human intelligence, right? With the help of some machines. right? And machine learning is a method where it analyzes the data, build some statistics, and predict some value, right? Output value. So if you see, right, machine learning is the brain of the artificial intelligence, right? So that is how we depict it. And the next question comes is that how we can teach the machine to do certain activities, right? So there are many different types of learning algorithm available, but predominantly we discuss three different types of learning. One is supervised learning, then unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning, right? So let me go through supervised learning in detail. So just with just one example, right? If I have a bucket, and in bucket I put like apple and banana, right? And I teach machine that anything which is round in the shape and uh, red in the color or green in the color and some curve on the top, that is called apple. Which is not like that, it's banana, right? And if I pick the apple, and machine learning will detect that, okay, that is apple, right? So that is something called supervised learning, where we have a supervisor. Supervisor here is nothing but your program, right? So it works on the existing data, and we make some if-else condition. So the more technical example is that credit card fraud, right? So we have a credit card, and machine know that, okay, this credit card belong to XYZ person, and he uses this credit card like every once in a week and not more than 5,000 rupees, right? But all of a sudden, if something abnormal happen, then it basically triggers some alarm, right? So that is also a machine learning. But that is supervised learning. And that supervised learning is very much useful in performance testing that we will talk later. Unsupervised learning is, there is no supervisor, first of all, here. So it learns based on the data set, right? And a great example is that your Facebook friend request suggestion mechanism, right? So how Facebook know that you might be seeing that you will be getting some friend suggestion, right? How Facebook know that, okay, this person or that person could be my friend and I can accept that, or I can send the friend request, right? So they basically work on some kind of a predicting mechanism, right? Similarly, if you see YouTube, right? Let us say today you are watching some news for continuously, let's see, couple of hours. Then tomorrow when you open YouTube, automatically the news channel will start coming, right? Or if you start watching something like cooking, right, for some hours, then day after tomorrow cooking will also start coming. So that unsupervised learning is the mechanism where the system learns from your behavior, right? And it clustered the data and produce the input function, right? So that is called unsupervised learning. The third kind of learning is reinforcement learning. So this is very complex, right? Where data are keep on changing, behaviors are keep on changing, and machine has to adapt that frequency of change in the data and make some model, right? And that is very complex. The example is bots, right, or any gaming software, right, where generally it works on reinforcement learning. So that is in brief about the artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now the interesting part, we are narrowing down to the testing part, right? So what are the aspects of AI in testing, right? So first and foremost part is agility, right? We all know that more than 80% of the projects, right, they follow agile methodology, and out of that, like almost 70% of the projects they releases weekly or bi-weekly. So which means that it is going to production very often, and that leads to frequent development of the code, frequent build into the environment, and thus you have to do very fast and rapid testing, which includes your requirement analysis and test design and execution and report analysis. And if we find any issues, that also has to be fixed very quickly before it goes to production, right? So with the help of AI, we can achieve some of agility, right? So that is one aspect. Second aspect is predictability, right? So predictability is very, very important in performance testing. So even though we do performance testing in a QA environment, we are not 100% sure, or we cannot be 100% sure that this is how it will work in the production. The reason is that maybe your environment are different, are not scalable enough to the production, right? Or maybe your data sets are not correct, right? It is not matching to the production, because in production you will have a lot of data coming from subsystem, whereas in QA environment you will have so many dummy test data, right? Which may not be adequate, just like a production, right? So even though you do testing in the QA environment, you cannot be 100% sure about the performance behavior in the production system, right? So with the help of AI, we can do some kind of better predictability, if not 100%, but at least we can nearby that, right? Near to that level. So that is one important aspect. Other important aspect is resilience during the subsystem failure. What does it mean is that you might have heard that cache monkey mechanism in Netflix, right? So, let us see, you have an environment, you have an application, and you have a web server, app server, database, right? And you have multiple instances. And now with the complexity in the application, nowadays, these servers also will have multiple nodes. You never know which node will come down during the testing or in the actual production. So what will be the implication of performance, application performance and user experience, right? So how to mimic that? So one way is that you can have a developer or system engineer who manages the servers, and during your testing you can tell them that, hey, can you bring down one server? And then you continue the testing, you find some pattern, then you can ask them that, okay, now bring up that server, now bring down 2 more servers from the database side, right? And then they will bring, and then again you will continue the testing and find some kind of a pattern, right? But this is like more like a manual effort. It is not scientific, right? So with the help of AI, you can also achieve a resilient testing for the application. Other aspect is self-healing test, right? So self-healing test is so that is very important in automation and performance testing. I would say that performance testing is also kind of automation testing, because you do scripting there also, right? So the biggest problem with the tester is that they write the script, they run the test, and after running the test and going to the live next release, their script start failing, right? When they do deep dive, they find that some objects or some reference were missing, or it got changed, right? Or maybe some extra button has come on the front end application, right? Something like that, right? So again, they have to rewrite the script, or maybe they have to capture only those part of the function in their script and place into the code. And then again, they have to rerun, and they have to make sure that the script is working. And this process keeps going on for the further releases, right? So that means that the manual effort is more when it comes to a script fixing and healing, right, manually. So with the use of AI, we can also achieve that self-healing test, right? And we have so many different tools in the market nowadays, like Load Ninja, right, or Functionize, right? So those tools are basically provide a self-healing mechanism where you write the test, you write the script for one time, and then based on the AI mechanism, they'll learn the new object, new reference, new changes in the application, and debug your script and write the new code on that, right? They use NLP, something like natural language processing, right? So with that AI power tool, you can also achieve self-healing test. Then a smart automation, by name itself, that we need to have our automation strategy so smart that your test never fail. You have and you achieve all kind of infrastructure, all kind of data in proper way. So with that, like, you can achieve smart automation, autonomous testing. So these are a couple of aspects, right, where we can leverage AI and ML concept and make performance testing more easy and more quicker. So with that, now let us go more into how AI and ML can help in performance testing. So as I said, like we can have better and quicker data analysis. So in performance testing, data is the biggest challenge, right? Either you have to create so many data manually or through some kind of automation, or you have to take the data from the production system and use that data for the test, right? So that is one part of data analysis, where you create the data. You should have the data for your performance testing. But also there are few things, few data which is coming during runtime, and that is very difficult to capture that. That is very difficult to put into your workload modeling system, right? So with the help of AI, you can have a better data analysis, and you can build the data very quicker and very accurately. Then next come to enhanced user experience. So enhanced user experience is something which is very kind of new things or very common things, I would say, in the performance testing world, right? So what do you mean by that is that when you do a performance testing, right? Let's say for a web-based application and you are using load runner or JMeter, right? What it does is that it sends some request to the server and wait for some response coming from the server, right? And that wait time is basically your response time. So you run the test, and that is the test for 1 hour. You get the response time, you calculate the average 90th percentile and so many other things, right? And you tell them, you say to the business that this is the performance metrics, right? And this is how your user is going to experience in production, right? But that is not the true case always, because many applications will also have some kind of a client-side response, right? Client-side rendering, right? So for that, you need to have different tools like developer tool or maybe Fiddler or maybe HTTP watch. And during load test, you can inject single user test and you can capture that and you can extrapolate that and give the user experience. But these all activities are manual, right? And there is a big chance that you miss some data and there will be some human error also. Right? So with the use of AI, you can have your test strategy or test execution strategy in such a way that you capture almost accurate user experience. Okay, so that is another thing that you can use. Then identify performance trend with more granularity, right? So using machine learning, you can deep dive your data and find the bottleneck and have data, have your statistics more granular at more granular level, right? So that is one more thing. The other important thing is SLA, right? So in performance testing, SLA is very important, right? So when you start your performance testing, what you do is that you go and talk to your business customer and ask them that, okay, what should be my response time SLA? What should be my server side SLA? How much CPU that is acceptable, right? How much memory it is acceptable during 100 user test or maybe 200 user test, right? So that is one way. Second way is that you if they don't provide, you go to production system, capture the data and make some SLAs. That is called NFR, right? But all these things are again a manual, and there is a chance that you miss something or other, right? So that also is not the right way. So with the smart SLA, with the use of AI, we can create a SLA in such a way that it will be more realistic, right? Because when you are doing performance testing, right, or load testing, your baseline result may be varying every time, right? Based on the user expectation, based on the different data set, based on the network, right? So your baseline data and your SLA will keep on changing. So, and it is very hard and difficult to get the right SLA, right baseline each and every time before you do performance testing. So with the use of AI and ML, you can also achieve this smart SLA. Smart is nothing but it should be simple, it should be measurable, it should be attainable, it should be realistic, and it should be time bound. right? So that is one thing that we can definitely achieve in using AI and ML. Next one is prevention is better than cure, right? So I just said we can predict the performance bug earlier and more accurately, and since it will be quicker and faster, development team will also have more time to fix that, right? So that is basically is all about prevention is better than cure, right? So this is how this is how AI and ML can help in performance testing. Now let me go to the performance test strategy for AI and ML, right? How we can implement that. So this is quite interesting, right? So we know that these are the phases we follow in each and every performance testing, right, life cycle. So one is planning, then test design, then test execution, then test analysis and reporting, and then it goes to production. It's a live system. So in each of these phases, you have tons of work to do, right? But these are the things that I have mentioned here. That can be achieved, or that can be you can use AI and ML to get these data or this kind of activities done. Okay, so what you have to do is that let's say you have application or environment, right? So you collect the data, you analyze the data, predict the data, right? So you will have some kind of a tool, right? AI or ML based either tool or component, or maybe some machine learning program that can be assisted, right? And you can have the NFR collection more accurately. You can define the SLA in a smart way, as I said, right? You can use some AI-based tool like Load Ninja, right, to create your script, and which will be auto self-heal, right? So you can do that script design also. Test execution workload modeling you can achieve during using AI and ML, right? Predominantly ML, I would say, because you have to write some algorithm and some code, maybe some Python code to do that workload modeling, and you can get the workload correct workload, because your workload may be varying each and every time when you do the testing based on the different subsystems, based on the different environment, sizing, scaling, right? So there are a lot many factors that is impacting that workload modeling, so you can achieve that. Analysis and reporting, right? That is again a big task for a performance tester, right? So conventionally what they do is that now we have some tools. Obviously we have some tools and logs to capture the data after the test, and you can do a lot of analysis and find some issue, find some pattern, right? And you can recommend something. But there are some AI powered tool like New Relic or Dynatrace, right? So they will basically uh, find some they will do some analysis and find some issues, predict some issue, and give some tuning recommendations as well. You don't have to manually do that, right? That is where you can use some AI powered tool, right? And production, once it goes to production, you can again use this kind of tools, or maybe you can write a simple ML program for live monitoring, and you can find any issues, or not only issue, you can also find the pattern which will be beneficial when you create the SLA next time when you run the test, right? So this is how you have to do. And so how AI and ML are changing the performance testing process, right? So this is basically some summary of whatever we discussed, right? So predicting performance in production better, okay? Make realistic test data, ensure your system is resilient, and provide a real-time insight into the system performance, right? So the one benefit with ML is that you can have you can analyze so many data so fast, right? Because when you capture the logs from the production, you will have millions of data, right? It is almost impossible to analyze everything manually, right? And even though with some tools available, they will give so many raw data, which is again very hard to correlate, right? Just for example, right, you are running a test, right, and let us see your environment, your app server are similar to production app server, which means that let's see you have 4 app server in production, you have 4 server in QA, and both have same number of CPUs, same amount of memory, but you have different database, right? In data, maybe in production you have two database nodes, but in QA you have only one database node. So what will happen is that your app server is capable to handle such some data, let's see 100 concurrent data per second, right? But your database in QA is not capable because it is not same as production, right? So there will be a lot of discrepancies when you do analysis because you cannot be so sure that okay, this is overall performance insight, right? So again, you have to do a lot of extrapolation when you do that. So with the help of AI and ML, you can also achieve that, and you can write a simple machine learning program in Python using some algorithm available, right? And you can achieve that. So that is all about. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. I think we have got 4 minutes left. So if you can.
Sure. No, I'm almost completing.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Thank you. So now next is anomalies, right? How to detect the performance anomalies using AI and ML, right? So first we need to understand what is anomaly, right? So some examples are like delayed response time, like increased latency, hanging, freezing, right? Blurred video, like right now we are doing a video streaming of this this whole conversation, right? Due to some network issue or due to some other issue, you might feel some hanging, freezing, right? So these are the performance issues, right? Server crash, right? It can during the load your server may crash, right? Decreased throughput, right? Poor user experience. So all these are anomalies, right? So how to detect, right? Generally, as a conventional performance testing, what we do is that we capture the response time from the tool, from the load testing tool, and we capture the server statistics from the APM tool. But that is not enough, right? So you have to utilize some kind of a machine learning or AI-based approach to find the anomalies. And there are few algorithms which is called density-based, which basically work on some it identify a neighborhood, which means that it identifies some set of pattern, right? After that pattern, there will be some anomalies, right? So that is density-based. Then you have cluster-based, and then you have support vector mechanism, machine-based, right? So these are the algorithms that I have mentioned. You can go through that in detail, but these are the algorithms that we can use in during the anomalies detection when we do performance testing. Next one is that the benefit, right? So this is the last slide of my presentation. So just to summarize that, using AI and ML, what we can achieve and what we can do is that we can definitely do codeless automation, which is like self-healing, right? Using NLP. We can develop the environment using the AML, which will be self-healing and self-correction, like if you have to auto scale, right, your server, or you maybe have to auto scale your memory or something like that, right? Or maybe you have to auto scale your data, right? Everything can be done using AI-driven softwares and tools. The test flow can be automated and it can be tested during the data, using the test data basically. Performance test modeling process provide the real-time workload during the execution. So as I said, like workload modeling is very important, and that can be more accurate, more realistic using ML-based solution. We can also prepare the smart SLA. We can adopt the performance rules over time, right? We can extrapolate the resulting data to human experience performance. That will be very, very important when it comes to performance testing, because user experience never match with the performance what we do, right? With the conventional mechanism. So we can definitely achieve that. And with that, right, we can also start using more number of AI assisted APM tools, as I mentioned, New Relic and some Functionize and SmartBeard, Load Ninja, and things like that, right? So So with that, I think I will conclude. So that's it. If you have any question, please go ahead.
Thanks a lot, Adolf. I think it was a wonderful topic. I think AI, ML is something that is now a buzzword these days, and it is coming to test automation industry as well. For now, we have got one question from Ramya. Her question is, how did you leverage AI to avoid doing user experience performance analysis on browser?
Okay, so very good question, right? So two things, Ramya, right? One is that two major part of your performance testing. One is basically design, and one is analysis. Analysis is basically your user experience. When you do analysis, you basically recommend and you can predict the user experience, right? So I just said in my project, right? We have used Load Ninja for the scripting, which is completely self-healing mechanism. Okay, and our life was super cool because we don't spend any time on the fixing the script, right? Majority of the time, I mean, if you have major change in the function, if all the web pages are changing, then definitely you have to rewrite. But some small changes like where references are changed or objects are changed, we can definitely use Load Ninja. And with the APM tool, right, you can definitely achieve the better user experience in terms. I mean, APM tool does not tell you that, okay, I mean, it cannot make user experience better, but what it can do is that it can give you the real insight of the user experience on which you can act upon. You can either fix your application, your environment, or maybe you can optimize your workload modeling, right? Which will basically help you achieving the better user experience in the production. Did I answer that question, Ramya?
Yeah, I think she has another question. So is there any in-house AI platform that has been built to digest data coming from various performance testing APM tools that brings additional predictive analysis capabilities? Or are you recommending to use right combination market available tools that has built-in intelligence? So more of a commercial tools, I guess.
Right. I mean, so first of all, AI is in still not mature state, right? That is what I would say, because in many different places AI is mature, but especially in performance testing is not mature, and that is what my first slide talks about, right? Given the example of Google Assistants and other things, right? So to your question, no, we don't have any inbuilt or in-house tool or any code written. But yes, certainly I have written some code in Python for in one of my project, right, where we can use that code to analyze the data, right? And data was coming, let us see, from a Splunk log that was very raw data, right? So we wrote the program in such a way that it will read the data and it will give the whatever information we want, because the Splunk log data was very raw in nature. So to your question, now, but we can definitely do that based on your project needs and the setup.
Okay, I think to add more to the question, I think so in your solution or whatever you are using at your firm, what all components was part of AI ML? Like I've seen you mentioning, Neuralink, which is more of a monitoring tool, as well as based on what the data that they have, they are looking at the futures as well. So what, considering the performance, I believe you are using JMeter or some tools which are on AI and that has JMeter. So which
So
part
J,
is actually
so yeah, the
AI?
JMeter is not AI driven, at least right now. Load Runner latest version will have some kind of AI. They use in the correlation, finding the correlation and all. But Load Ninja is a very good tool that I have used in one of my project. Okay, that was a best application, and it was really nice tool, because first of all, there are two benefits of Load Ninja, right? One is that self-healing the script. The second one is that user experience, because your conventional Load Runner and JMeter gives you only the server side response time, right? But Load Ninja simulate the real browser, right? So if you ask Load Ninja that, okay, I need to do 100 concurrent user or maybe 100 concurrent user across 10 different geography, right? the number is very small, maybe 1,000 concurrent user in 10 different geography, right? So Load Ninja have a mechanism. It opens the real browser in 10 different geography, right? And simulate the load according to your workload modeling and gives you the user experience, because that will cover your server side response time as well as client side response time.
Okay, I think that answers my question. I think more for now we have to incline towards the commercial one, which is already developed. So I think thanks a lot, Adolf. I think it was very wonderful and insightful session. I think with that we are good to close this session.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Adolf.